What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into 2022 NCAA Tournament Bracketology March. It is official. It's March. I know it's a little bit later, as one game is in the bag, as Providence barely lost to Villanova. Sad day for Providence. Good day for Villanova, but I still trust in that Providence team. And I think Villanova's a very good team, but Providence I do trust in still. We also got West Virginia against Oklahoma and Ole Miss against Kentucky right now. Both teams trying to fight for survival. But anyway, let's get into this bracket watch. Top overall seed Gonzaga, first team out Loyola. And now officially, no matter what happens, Loyola Chicago must win their conference tournament or else they're not making it in. And then the last team is going to be Rutgers. You look at Rutgers, we're hot. Now they've cooled off. So it's a little bit interesting to see what's going on there with Rutgers. But anyway, let's get into these last four byes, which the Creighton Blue Jays, my Creighton Blue Jays team that I really do like. San Francisco, if you haven't checked out my West Coast Conference Tournament predictions, I did pick San Francisco to lose to BYU in the next round. That would probably kick them out of the, maybe keep them in, but it would definitely move BYU above them. But anyway, Wake Forest and then Michigan. And then the last forum, we got Memphis, San Diego State, Indiana, and Rutgers. First route, we got Loyola, BYU, Oregon, SMU. And then the next four out, Virginia Tech, Florida, St. Bonaventures, and Dayton. All right, so for the 68-team bracket, we got Alcorn State new to the field at a 16. San Diego State new to the field at a 12. Rutgers dropping down to a 12. And Indiana dropping up to an 11. Here in the West, we got Xavier dropping down to a 9. Michigan going to be dropping down to 11. New Mexico State's going to be dropping down to a 14. San Francisco's going to be jumping up to a 10. And Montana State's going to be dropping down to a 15. And in the South, we got Notre Dame jumping up to an 8. UConn jumping up to a 4. St. Mary's going to be jumping up to a 6. Princeton going to be new to the field at a 14. We got Iowa dropping down to a 7. And then Davidson jumping up to a 2. And then Longwood at the 15. I didn't even mention this, but everyone knows all top 6 teams lost on Saturday. And I just really wanted to throw out there. But anyway, Boise State going to be dropping down to an 8. TCU going to be jumping up to a 9. Creighton going to be dropping down to an 11. And North Carolina going to be jumping up to a 10. And in the East, we got Arkansas dropping down to a 5. Northern Iowa jumping up to a 13. Ohio State going to be dropping down to a 6, as well as Wake Forest dropping down to an 11. Tucson new to the field at a 14. Miami dropping down to 2. And Auburn dropping down to a 2 after losing to Tennessee. But anyway, guys, let's get into the bracket. Interesting that Michigan State doesn't move up, by the way, guys, after a win. And I don't know why Ohio State dropped down 2 spots, but I guess it's just what Lundardi thought. But anyway, let's get into this bracket. And I have not adjusted this bottom, I'll be honest. So I'm just going to say my teams. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say San Diego State, I think, beats. Let's just go back here. I think that San Diego State beats Rutgers. Memphis beats Indiana. Norfolk State beats Bryant, and New Orleans beats Alcorn State. So that's that. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's move on to this bracket. That's going to start out with the 1 seed, Gonzaga, after losing to St. Mary's on Saturday. They're still the number 1 overall seed. I do like them over New Orleans. Colorado State, I think, beats Xavier. Xavier's completely fallen off a cliff. Easy upset territory here. South Dakota State over Houston. Houston, not a big believer in them at all. And South Dakota State, I am in. And I'm going to go with the 13 over 12 upset as well, keeping these upsets rolling. Not the biggest fan of Toledo. I mean, they're just not the best. Let's be honest. I mean, not Toledo. I meant UCLA. I mean, they're struggling. They didn't play the best against Washington. A bad Pac-12 team. And they're just, let's just be straight up, they're struggling. And as the favorites now, Arizona is UCLA, I think, is bound for an upset here against Toledo. And then keep these upsets rolling. We're going to have 11 seed Michigan beating LSU. This game could go either way, though. But I do like Michigan a little bit more in that game to pull off an upset. Michigan has my heart now a little bit. I think they can pull off some upsets. Texas Tech, I do think beats New Mexico State. San Francisco, I think, pulls off the 10-7 upset against Marquette. Marquette just not playing the best. And then Purdue, I think, beats Montana State. So anyway, moving on down here. Kansas, I do think, beats Cleveland State. Wyoming, I think, beats Seton Hall. Arkansas, I hate to eliminate my North Texas team. This team, basically every 5 seed except for Arkansas, I would pull off this upset. But unfortunately, they had to play Arkansas. It was just red hot. Man, these 5 seeds, this is very weak, except for Arkansas. But anyway, Illinois, I do like over Northern Iowa. Ohio State, I think, beats Wake Forest in that game. Again, I don't really see the point of Ohio State dropping there. And then Villanova, I think, beats Tucson. And then Michigan State, I think, beats Miami. And Auburn beats Colgate. So all chalk in this region, except for the 9/8. But, yeah. Moving on down here, we got the Bears against Long Beach State. I'm going to like Baylor in that game. Murray State against Notre Dame. Tough one, that's for sure. Oh, man. Nah, I'm going to go Murray State. Pretty simple, actually. Alabama, I do think beats... Actually, you know what? I'm going to give the slight edge to San Diego State just because they got that extra game against Indiana. That's the only reason. Really, Alabama's leaning towards that, but if you take that extra game into consideration, I do think San Diego State actually wins that game and advances on to battle it out against UConn, who I think beats Vermont. I'm growing a lot more on UConn than normal. St. Mary's, I do think, beats Memphis. Tennessee, I think, beats Princeton. Davidson, I think, beats... Oh, man, that's tough. I don't think Iowa. That's a very strong 7 seed there. I'm going to actually go Iowa, man. That's a tough game to predict. I think that game could go either way. Never mind. We're going to go upset. 10/7. It's very difficult, man. I don't like that. I don't like that Iowa's a 7 seed. I know St. Mary's 1, but I think that Iowa is a good 6 seed. They're a good team right there. Anyway, Arizona, I do think beats Norfolk State. Boise State, I think, could beat TCU. And Iona, I think, pulls up the 12/5 upset. So we're going to go 3 out of 4 5/12 upsets in this round. I just feel like Iona is – I'm just not Texas. I know they fought against Baylor, but that was just poor management in the end of the game. If you watched, the commentators didn't mention it, but just poor management. You don't need a foul with 1 minute left, down by 6. You could play your defense. I know Baylor's a good offense, but you could play your defense and get a stop. That was just bad management. And I think Iona's a good coach team. They can go out there and win that game. Providence, I do think, beats Chattanooga in that game, though. And then Creighton, I think, pulls with the 11/6. Still not sold on this USC team at all. They do have a big game against Arizona coming up, so that'll be big to see if they can win. Wisconsin, I do think, beats Texas State. Iowa State, I think, beats North Carolina, but that game could go either way. And Kentucky, I think, beats Jacksonville State. So anyway, let's move on for a spot in the Sweet 16. The Zags, I think, beats Colorado State. Good game here. South Dakota State against Toledo. I am going to go South Dakota State, so we got a Cinderella story there. Michigan against Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech in that game. And Purdue, I will say Purdue, out of all these 2 seeds, is at most risk of getting upset, in my opinion. I don't think it happens to San Francisco, though. I think they survive. But that game could also, I could see an upset happening there, though. A lot of these 7 and 10 seeds could pull off that upset, I think. Anyway, Kansas, I think, beats Wyoming. Arkansas against Illinois, man. What a matchup. I'm going to go Arkansas based on they are really playing great basketball. That's the only reason, though. They're really hot. Those two, that game can go either way, man. We've had a lot of great matchups this bracketology. It would be very fun to see what happens if this were the matchups. Villanova, I do think beats Ohio State, and I was thinking about this one actually during this bracketology. Do I want to go with Michigan State over Auburn? I am going to go Auburn. I feel like Michigan State, they were struggling. They did get a big win, but they barely got that win. So I feel like I'm going to go Auburn. Auburn, I'm not the biggest Auburn guy, but they are a team that can they are a contender. But I could see that upset happening, but I still need a little bit more wins from Michigan State to be confident in that decision. They're actually playing Michigan right now and losing by 10. Anyway, let's move on to this region. We got Baylor against Murray State. Man, I'm so tempted to go this upset. Baylor has proven, though. They proved me wrong. I picked Boise State last time to beat them. After that, they won 2 Power 5, top 25 teams. They proved me wrong. So I'm going to give hats off to Baylor. Not still the biggest Baylor guy, but against Murray State, they can win. UConn, I think, beat San Diego State. Tennessee, I think, can survive against St. Mary's. And Duke, I think, beats Davidson. But Duke, I feel, is at risk. All of these 2 seeds right now are at risk against these teams and getting upset. But I do think Duke wins right there. So we got all chalk. Arizona against Boise State. I am going to go Arizona. Still like this Arizona team a lot. Providence, I do think, beats Iona. Wisconsin, I think, could beat Creighton. And Kentucky could beat Iowa State. And that's the easiest one out of all of them. I could see all madness and Kentucky be the only team left. But if you look at my predictions right now, it doesn't seem like there's madness. So we're going to advance on. Gonzaga against South Dakota State. I think they end this Cinderella run with a win there. But again, I could see an upset actually happening, a major upset. Don't think it happens, though. Texas Tech against Purdue. I'm going to go. Texas Tech has struggled. I do believe, did they win yesterday? I'm not quite sure. They barely beat TCU. They're struggling, but man, I'm going to go Purdue. Don't feel very confident in it. I just feel like I just haven't had that perfect upset opportunity there. Kansas against Arkansas. I'm going to go with a 5-1. I really do like Kansas, but against Arkansas, this is an upset that I could easily see happening to advance on. And then I'm going to go a 3-2 seed, Villanova over Auburn. So we got a 3 versus a 5. Now, this is an easy upset. Villanova just beat Providence twice. This is a good Villanova team. They could beat Arkansas, I think. Anyway, moving on to this region, we got Baylor, I think, could beat UConn. Actually, very tempted to go UConn in that game, but I do think Baylor's proven that they can win. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to see a little bit more. I'm going to go UConn. UConn's proven. Baylor still has. It was only 2 games. And UConn's a good team. I have actually completely flipped from really not liking UConn at all to liking UConn now a lot. So UConn, I feel like, can make that Elite 8, pull off that upset. And Tennessee gets a Duke, man. Duke is a great team, but I feel like Davidson has just enough to battle test them for that game. I think that they could beat Tennessee to advance. And then Arizona, as much as I want to bring Providence back, I really do like Arizona in that matchup. And then Kentucky, I think, beats Wisconsin. So we're going to have another Kentucky-Wisconsin matchup. Kentucky-Arizona matchup, 3rd time in a row. But anyway, Gonzaga against Purdue. I do like Gonzaga. That Gonzaga couldn't have asked for a better path. Purdue's an easy win there, in my opinion. And then Villanova against Arkansas, 3 versus a 5. I don't see Arkansas advancing. Do I, though? Man, that's tough. Ooh. Villanova is a very solid team. I'm going to go Villanova just barely in that game. That game could go either way. Another game that could go either way. Duke, though, I do think beats UConn, especially after beating Tennessee. At this point, they're just rolling. And then Arizona against Kentucky. Again, like I said, third time in a row these two teams have met in my bracketologies. I picked Kentucky last time. I'm going to pick Arizona this time. I know they just lost to Colorado, but I do trust this Arizona team a lot. And that's going to be big for the tournament. So I'm going to go Arizona. So we got Gonzaga, Villanova. We got a 1 seed Gonzaga, 3 seed Villanova, 2 seed Duke, and another 1 seed in Arizona. Anyway, Gonzaga against Villanova. I don't think Villanova can pull off that upset there. I'll go Zags. And then Duke against Arizona. I'm going to go... Should I go Blue Devils? Man, that's tough. I'm going to go Arizona, though. Top 2 teams in the nation. And I feel like it's time to bring one home for the Wildcats in Arizona. I just feel like that's suited here. I mean, Arizona, I know they just lost to Buffaloes, but I believe in this team. I just really do believe in this team. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video. March Madness is almost here. I'm so excited. But hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Anyway, peace out.